The variegation is technically an albinism. I don't know how to say the word. I'm a foreigner. Hey everyone, it's me, Elis, your soon-to-be favorite plant daddy. In this video, we're going to be talking about our houseplant ficuses. But of course, before we continue to this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, share it with your friends. Thank you. So the ficus plant family is really big. It's about 850 plants that belong to the ficus plant genus. So this family of plants are fig trees, but it is generally the common fig tree that will produce the fig fruit. Other ficuses do have edible fruits, but they are more like wildlife fruits for them to eat than the figs that we know and should be eating. They are either woody trees, shrubs, or vining plants, and other words that I can't pronounce. There are so many plants in this family. I can't possibly cover them in just one video because you will get bored and stop watching. And I am not gonna even attempt to go over the majority of them. So I am just gonna pick the 3 little family members that I have. And when I say 3 little family members, I mean a subset of ficuses that I have in my home. And I will introduce you to them one by one. And I will give you some care tips that have worked for me and I swear by. The ficus plants are tropical plants. There are so many different varieties of them. They are known to spread out to other temperature zones and do quite well there. As I said, there are 850 species of them, but the 3 kinds that I'm going to be talking about today are Fiddle Leaf Figs, my rubber plants, and my Ficus Benjamina. And since I'm already here, let's start with my Fiddle Leaf Fig. As a houseplant, the Fiddle Leaf Fig is one of the most dramatic ficuses that you can have. They can be so easy to take care of, and they can also be so incredibly difficult to take care of. The best tip I would give anyone that is gonna bring a Fiddle Leaf Fig to their home is to place it in a sunny spot and let it acclimate. If you found a spot where it's happy, you need to leave it alone there. Do not move it. If you choose to move it, make sure to acclimate it properly into that spot because otherwise it's gonna get so dramatic. When I got this big boy, yeah, I'm calling him a big boy. He's not very big, but he will get big. He dropped so many leaves when I got him at first. I was convinced that he had fungi or he had root rot or something terrible was happening. Turns out I just needed to leave him the F alone and let him adjust to his new home. And I don't know why I'm gendering him, but it's happening. So what will happen if you don't allow your Fiddle Leaf Fig to properly acclimate to your home or to the atmosphere that your home provides or the environment is that it will get some brown spots, it will start to lose leaves, and it gets all around sad. This guy had brown spots when I got him, a little bit here. They are mainly from the time when it was brought from the nursery to the floral shop. Soon as he had acclimated to my home, he started producing new leaves like crazy. He has spent this entire winter continuously producing new leaves. Like this one here, brand new leaf. And it's just growing bigger and bigger by the day. This is also a leaf from this winter and it's huge. Ficuses generally hibernate during winter time, but this little drama queen chooses to take the different route and not hibernate that much. Even though they're all ficuses, they all have different watering needs. The Fiddle Leaf Fig, for example, like almost any other plant, does not like to be overwatered because that causes what? But the Fiddle Leaf Fig does not like it when the roots dry out completely. You need to find that gentle balance of the soil drying out just slightly. Never let the soil dry out completely like we do with our pothos or we would do with our succulents or our sansevieras. The most important thing that you can provide your fiddle leaf fig is a lot of sunlight. And depending on what it has acclimated to, either a lot of indirect sunlight or semi-partial sunlight. In certain climates, fiddle leaf figs do really well outside. If you are planning to keep your plant outside and bring it back inside during winter time, you need to do it gradually in both directions. Never just plant your fiddle leaf fig directly into bright sunlight and then bring it back inside. It's too dramatic for them, and never allow them to listen to country music because they hate it. JK. Be vigilant about pest control when it comes to the fiddle leaf fig. They are prone to attract a lot of pests, and since they're such sensitive creatures, you will also be prone to not look so closely because you are afraid that you're gonna break off the leaves or whatever. But spider mites, mealybugs, they can all get in there. Make sure to keep an eye out. Since their foliage is so thick and they heavily depend on the sunlight, it is good to wipe them down periodically, and that will also help with pest control, because if you're constantly wiping it off, chances are you're gonna not end up with too many pests. All right, let's go and check out our next family. Next, our Ficus Elastica family, or a rubber plant. So this big guy is one of my first plants that I got, and I didn't really know anything about plants. I think I repotted it about 3 times when I first got it because I really wanted it to stand up straight and not grow so wild. And through that entire process, of course, it lost a lot of leaves. It was not very happy. Similar to the fiddle leaf fig, it doesn't change that much. The Ficus Elastica is a little bit less dramatic than the fiddle leaf fig, but still they are also a dramatic plant as well, because that's how ficuses be. They hibernate more than the fiddle leaf fig. The fiddle leaf fig has been producing new leaves throughout winter. These guys have actually slowed down. They're getting the same amount of sunlight. They are literally across the room from one another. They're being watered as they need, and these guys are not producing leaves right now. The fiddle leaf fig is pushing out leaves all the time. The Ficus Elastica comes in few different varieties. So does the fiddle leaf fig. There is a Bambino, and I just found out that there's a variegated version. Of course, I should have known that there's a variegated version, and I just found out there's a variegated version, and I am not a big variegated kind of person, but oh my god, a variegated fiddle leaf fig looks amazing. It actually looks a lot like the variegated Ficus Elastica. So this is your run-of-the-mill variegated Ficus Elastica. It has these creamy colors. It has these beautiful different shades of green. It is so pretty. I love it. You have to be really, really careful about sunlight when it comes to a variegated rubber tree, because if they get too much sunlight, their leaves will scorch, and they will scorch in the variegated areas, because the variegated parts of the plants are technically albinism. It did worry me a lot when I first got this plant that it was a fungi that was treating my leaves like that. So the leaves that have the scorch marks on them had the scorch mark on them when I got it. The leaves that do not have any scorch mark are the leaves that it produced while it was living here. So it's doing well. Which is a variegated version as well, but it gets more pink. This one is very, very juvenile still. When you see them side by side, you can see that there's a lot more pink here than on the other plant. I got them late fall, so they are just chilling like a villain. Unlike the fiddle leaf fig, allow the soil to dry out more than you would with the fiddle leaf fig, because the fiddle leaf fig needs continuous little bit of moisture in the soil. These guys need it to dry out a bit more. They like it. And on to our last part of this plant family that I currently own, the curly weeping fig ficus. Unlike its siblings, this one has tiny little leaves. They are thick leaves, but they are tiny. And this one is a lot like a myrtle. They do not like it at all if their soil dries out. So keep it consistently moist but never drenched. If you don't make sure that the soil is moist at all times, it will start dropping leaves. This one is so cute and fun. I really like this guy. It is a small little version of figs. There are even smaller. They're the shrubs, they're the vines, and ficuses are fun plants to have. I highly recommend them to anyone. Ficuses are in fact easy to take care of. You kind of just have to leave them alone in a way and then attend to them when they need to be attended to. They are one of these plants where you just have to listen to them. Make sure to overwater the ones that love water and underwater the ones that don't need watering. Most of the common houseplant ficuses are very similar when it comes to propagating them. If you want to propagate them, if your plant is getting too tall, you can easily cut off the top and you can stick it in water. It will root fairly quickly and then you can push it back into the soil if you want a really big lush plant. If you want them to branch out, you can air layer them, or you can pinch the growth that is coming out here. That will stop the plant from growing upward and it kind of forces it to start branching out. Most of the ficuses do not propagate from leaves, especially like the Fiddle Leaf Fig or the rubber plant. You need to have nodes on there for it actually to produce roots. So if leaves fall off your ficuses, they're done for. Actually grab them by the node. The ficuses prefer fertilization in the summertime, in springtime. Give them a generous amount of fertilization in the springtime, then a half amount in late summer, and then don't fertilize it anymore during winter time. Let them hibernate if they're hibernating. Let them be. Make sure that they get consistent warmth and humidity. The Ficus Elastica is very forgiving of humidity, but the Ficus Lyrata needs a lot of humidity. So if your place is not very humid, please look at ways to get more humidity for it. For your Fiddle Leaf Fig to properly thrive, the humidity of your home needs to be 60% or over. It will adapt. It will be fine if it's lower, but if you want a big, bushy, beautiful plant, you should really consider making sure it gets a lot of humidity. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something or just found it plain entertaining. Please check out my social media. I'm doing all sorts of different fun things there. And of course, subscribe to this channel. Like it, comment, share it with your friends. I would love that. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye. And of course, before we continue, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, like it.